Hello everyone, it's Makeda Voletta, also known as the Body Scientist, and currently I am live on my IG page. I'm actually doing this on my IG page at the underscore Renaissance underscore Amazon underscore 81. I really should be doing this on my other IG page. Usually I do my health videos on my other IG page, which is the underscore body underscore scientist. And usually I would put this on my other YouTube page, which is the Body Scientist 81. So anyhow, I have two pages. But I'm currently doing this video on the Renaissance Amazon page because I have more followers and I just want to reach more of you, okay? So, in case you are unfamiliar with me, I have a background in exercise and sports science and nutrition. Okay, I'm also a doula, birth worker. I'm a dancer, and I have a holistic approach when it comes to health and fitness. And so today I want to do a video about why you shouldn't take nutrition advice from doctors. Okay, now I will say there are a few doctors who I've come across who know what they're talking about. But when it comes to nutrition, most of the advice I hear given by doctors makes me cringe, okay? And so, also, before I get into that too much, I also want to let you know that the graduate program that I went to for applied physiology and nutrition education, it was a program at Teachers College at Columbia University. It was the only nutrition program in the United States that's not funded by the food industry, okay? Because all of the nutrition programs in the United States are funded by the food industry, the same way all of the medical programs are funded by the drug companies, okay? Food companies fund nutrition, drug companies fund the doctors, okay? Education-wise, and everything else, the research and all the other stuff. So my program made us very aware of global food issues, of the politics and dangers behind GMO foods, all the chemicals and things that they're putting into the foods, the chemicals and the GMO, which is into the foods before people realized it. A lot of it wasn't studied at all to see what effect it had on the body. And then any little studies that did happen were not good results, okay? But a lot of that was suppressed. So doctors, they go to school for medicine, okay? When you're in medical school, they don't learn to really dissect an issue and understand why does this person have this issue? What do you do to reverse this issue? That's not how they think, and that's not how they're educated, okay? They're educated to attack and find some kind of artificial substance from outside of themselves and outside of nature to fix it, okay? Now, I'm not going to say there isn't a place for emergency medicine, like God forbid you get into a car accident, you fall out of something or something horrible happens and you have an urgent emergency, then, doctors are great. But when it comes to giving you advice on how to maintain your health and longevity and prevention, they're not the people to listen to. And it's driving me crazy because this whole coronavirus situation. Hold on, let me fix this other camera. Okay. I see so many doctors on YouTube and stuff giving advice on how to strengthen your immune system. And most of what they're saying is incorrect, okay? I hear, and then I constantly people ask doctors this. Now, I'm a nutritionist, right? And I know about medications. I know about certain drugs and medications. But I do not give advice or prescriptions, medical prescriptions to people for drugs. I don't do that. That's not my area of expertise. Even though I may know about medications. I may know that non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs cause certain issues and what they interact with. I can know those things, but I'm not qualified to give prescriptions. And neither are doctors. Same thing goes with a lot of trainers, okay? I've done videos on this before about the fitness industry. It's trainers are not nutritionists. A lot of people take nutrition advice from trainers who are not trained in nutrition. And even when a lot of people are trained in nutrition, like I said, the commercial food industry funds most of the nutrition education. So a lot of people who are, educated dietitians and nutritionists still have the wrong information, okay? So there are 3 doctors, though, that got it right that I'm going to recommend books for you to look at, okay? The first one, and I've talked about this before, this is called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, okay? Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston A. Price, DDS, okay? So he was an American dentist that traveled all around the world to remote places, I think it was in the 30s. And for 10 years, he went to 14 different countries and every part of the globe. These remote places, he studied in traditional people, their traditional diets. He took their traditional foods, took them to the lab to see how much vitamin A is in it, how much vitamin D is in it, what the nutrients were. He looked at their health, took photographs of their facial structure, their teeth, looked at all their, examined them, and then compared it to people one generation after eating the white man's foods, okay? What he calls the white man's foods, and he's a white man, which he describes as flour, sugar, and vegetable oil, okay? And I remember when I was in graduate school, the chairman of undergrad, the chairman of my nutrition department was, he worked with Native Americans, Native American reservations. He was an old white man. He used to always talk about how the government purposely gave Native Americans vegetable oil, sugar, and flour because they knew they couldn't digest it, and alcohol, and took away their rights to hunt and get their traditional foods. And for those of you who follow me, I talk about traditional foods all the time. If anybody's guessing on because you have so many different theories about food and nutrition and what you should eat. If you're really guessing and confused, or you just want confirmation, this is the book that you start with, okay? This book is like almost 500 pages, okay? Oh. I can't recommend anything. This is the Bible of it all, okay? Trust me. And so this one, then there's another doctor, Catherine Shanahan. She wrote this book, Deep Nutrition, Why Our Genes Need Traditional Foods, okay? Deep Nutrition, Why Our Genes Need Traditional Foods, okay? This book is also, and this is a medical doctor, Catherine Shanahan. She's trained at Cornell University's molecular biology program, where she learned how nutrients direct physiologic growth. She has continued to study nutrition and alternative medicine since residency training in Tucson, Arizona. Dr. Shanahan's lectures have revolutionized how fellow medical professionals think about nutrition and health. So she is a medical doctor, and she knows what she's talking about. I'm telling you, a lot of them don't. They have to do a lot of extra work. She is on point. She talks a lot about what I talk about with the importance of bone broth, the importance of fermented foods, the importance of eating meat on the bone. Yeah, she talks about the 4 pillars, actually. The 4 pillars are the 4 things that you see commonly amongst diets for all people around the world, okay? All around the world. So if you're watching this video and you co-sign from whatever country and tradition you come from what I'm about to say, please write your comments below so this can be documented. But the 4 pillars of health. Number 1, meat on the bone, okay? Every culture ate meat on the bone, okay? They didn't eat skinless chicken breast, skinless, boneless chicken breast. No, they ate the meat on the bone. Number 2, every culture ate organ meats. Every single culture ate some kind of organ meats, whether it's the heart, the kidneys, the intestines, the eyeballs, the liver, okay? That's the most nutritious part of the animal, actually, is the organ meats. So I don't care if it's Africans, Asians, Europeans, Americans, Caribbeans, everybody ate organ meats, okay? That's number 2. Number 3, everyone has some sort of fermented food in their diet, every culture. Whether it be fermented raw dairy, which is my fermented food of choice. I consume a lot of raw milk, kefir, high-quality yogurts, sour cream. Those are all fermented dairy, raw dairy. So either they had in that form or in the form of lacto-fermented vegetables, like kimchi, sauerkraut. Mexicans have cortado. So different ways that they would ferment fruits and vegetables. So fermented foods, okay, number 3. And number 4 was broth, okay? Every single culture in the world, I don't care, again, what country they're from, they consume some sort of broth, whether it be chicken broth, pork broth, beef broth, fish broth, shrimp broth, okay? People use broth, from animals. So, and she goes into a lot of science and evidence as to why this is so important for your health and aging properly. So, Deep Nutrition, another book I highly recommend. The third one is this book, Jordan S. Rubin. So, those of you who see me talk about probiotics all the time, I always recommend this one particular brand by Garden of Life, okay, which I wholeheartedly believe in. And, you know, right now, I'm in Chicago, my family is in New York City, and actually I just found out that the zip code that my parents are in is the highest, the number one zip code for COVID infections, right? I've been giving my parents lots of advice, telling them to consume broth every day, to drink hot green tea every day, to cook with a lot of garlic. I've been telling them to consume raw milk and fermented foods and cod liver oil, probiotics, all those things. My mom keeps telling me how great she feels. Nobody's sick. Hopefully it stays that way, okay? But we definitely play a role in our immune system. You know, there's no way that you could completely avoid a virus or a bacteria. And anybody who's been following me knows I've been saying this for over a decade, right? This is why, you know, you need to always be focusing on making sure your immune system is strong, okay? I did that in general with the foods that I eat and the things that I do, because exercising is another thing that really boosts your immune system, but certain kinds of exercise. Some exercise can decrease your immune system and weaken it. Other kinds of exercise can increase and strengthen it. And I'm going to be doing videos on that on my other page, The Body Scientist 81, so be sure you follow me there, okay? Be sure you follow me, The Body Scientist 81. Okay, so Jordan S. Rubin, he's a medical doctor. He's the one that creates the Garden of Life products and probiotics. And there's another doctor, Joseph Brasco, MD. So this book is a pretty good book. This is called Restoring Your Digestive Health, okay? Restoring Your Digestive Health. This book is all about probiotics. Jordan S. Rubin almost died from irritable bowel syndrome. And Joseph Brasco is a gastroenterologist, okay? This book is a very good book to really understand why probiotics are so important for preventing infections, keeping your immune system strong, your digestion. And I actually have a YouTube video on that topic, so be sure to check it out. I just want to point these 3 books out because these are 3 books by medical doctors who I feel like do know what they're talking about, okay? But the bulk of them, I'm hearing them give people advice like, oh, buy oatmeal and eat oatmeal. Like, first of all, oatmeal really is not a healthy food unless you soak it. You have to soak it in some type of acidic medium for like 24 to 48 hours to deactivate the toxins. Grains have a lot of anti-nutrients and toxins in them. So grains have to be properly prepared, soaked properly, cooked properly. So oatmeal is never a food that I would recommend. And oatmeal doesn't give you any nutrition, okay? It's just a bunch of fiber that goes through you. It doesn't give you really any nutrition. I don't really see the point in eating that. It makes you feel full, but it's not giving you any nutrients. And if you want to strengthen your immune system, you need something that's going to give you nutrients, okay? So, you know, they'll say stuff like oatmeal. They'll tell people to drink low-fat milk. They'll tell people to drink soy milk or almond milk instead of cow's milk, which those of you who follow me, you know I talk about the virtues of raw milk, raw grass-fed milk a lot. This is not the same milk that comes from the commercial food industry that makes everybody sick. Milk from the commercial food industry that is homogenized and pasteurized and comes from sick cows is not good to consume, okay? But if you have raw milk that is from grass-fed cows that is not homogenized or pasteurized, it's a totally different food and it's an immune-building food. And raw milk can actually help prevent all kinds of upper respiratory tract infections, helps with asthmatics, and there's a lot of information and studies on that, okay? You know, and I hear them tell people to use hand sanitizer all the time, which is that's not nutrition advice, but that's also bad advice. Unless you're using a natural one, you know, made with natural herbs, natural antimicrobial herbs and products like clado silver, grapefruit seed extract, garlic, oregano, thyme, you know, things like that. Aloe. But the artificial ones, no. Okay? But the thing is just that really, I hardly ever see anybody ask a nutritionist for nutrition advice. I constantly see them ask a doctor, what can you do to build your immune system? I can promise you, that's not what doctors studied in school at all, okay? If they studied that in school, don't you think they would tell somebody that? They don't. The media ask them that, but you never hear a doctor to actually give the information. All the doctors that come on TV, not one of them has said, do this, this, and that, so you can strengthen your immune system. Not one of them says, okay, if you have mild symptoms, none of them give you advice of what to do at home so those mild symptoms don't turn into severe symptoms. They never tell you that. You know, all the nurses and doctors, they're in the hospital eating junk food. You know what I'm saying? When they should have like a big container of green tea and echinacea with like olive leaf extract or something in it, you know, a bunch of very potent antimicrobial and immune stimulating herbs, and like a big pot of chicken soup with chicken broth or something. That's something they could eat quickly but would nourish them. And I'm going to do a video tomorrow on the virtues of bone broth and why it is so critical for our immune system and our gut. Okay, there's a lot of science on that. So instead of giving them something like that, they're eating donuts and coffee. Like, I understand the coffee because you need to stay awake, but I mean like donuts and crap. Okay, and they think that's perfectly fine. The last thing you want to do if you're trying to strengthen your immune system is eat a bunch of sugar. But a lot of people crave a lot of sugar because they have intestinal dysbiosis, which is an imbalance of bacteria in your gut. I have videos about this. I'll post them below on this YouTube, okay? And so when you have an imbalance of bacteria, you're going to crave cookies and cakes. And even when you try to say, I'm not going to eat that, you still crave it because the bacteria in your gut is secreting hormones to control you and make you crave it anyway. So your willpower will never be able to outpower the bacteria in your gut that's making you crave sugar, okay? I have a book on how, I have a video on how to remedy and cure sugar cravings, because it's more than, people will say things like, oh, drink water, and no, that's not how you do it, okay? So consuming a lot of sugar is the last thing you want to do if you start feeling like you're getting sick, or if you just want to have a strong immune system, or if you are sick and you're trying to get better. Stay away from the damn sugar, okay? But yeah, I mean, ultimately, you just want to understand that medical doctors are not, they might have taken one nutrition class at best. Like, that's like somebody taking one medicine class, one pharmaceutical class, and then trying to be a pharmacist or a doctor and prescribe medications. It's way too complicated than that. And the human body is way more complicated than artificial vitamins that somebody made up. So this is why you really want to be careful with taking your nutrition advice from medical doctors. But also, you have a lot of people out here who are supposed to be so-called holistic who are also full of it, okay? So a lot of people have seen me speak many times about how I think that Sebi is a fraud, and I will not call him Dr. Sebi because the man was not a doctor. He never took a single class in his life. I don't even think he went to kindergarten. Now, it's one thing if you train with traditional people, okay? There are people who train with traditional people, never went to college, never did that. I know a woman like that, Pakistani and Digimama out in LA. She's Mexican, she's a G. She's never took a college class, but when she talks and explains certain things, it's actually scientifically sound. She could speak to a doctor or a scientist and it makes sense. Because the thing is, or someone who does physiology or anatomy, it makes sense. And the thing is that I always say, Western science never confirms anything that indigenous people didn't already know, okay? So Western science is actually behind that. Now, a lot of Western science modern science is confirming things that indigenous people already knew, okay? Like why broth is so good. But again, everybody consumed broth, right? Now, the thing is about Sebi, I thought that he was a fraud before he passed away. And because he passed away, I'm not going to not say that I think he's a fraud because I always thought that. And I think that the fact that he didn't make it to 85 years old is proof of that, Because it's like if you're preaching, I have a whole video about this and I'm not going to get deeply into it in this video. I'll post the video below so you can have an hour-long conversation where I'm breaking down why I know he's a fraud. But the thing is, I don't respect people like that. I don't respect people. And so many of the gurus, okay, who lead people on some bullshit mission, okay, that's actually destructive. A lot of times it's men, okay? I see all through that shit, okay? Sebi, the things that he says makes no sense. If you understand anything about how the body works, if you understand anything about physiology, the shit that he's saying is not even correct. Not only it's not correct, it doesn't make sense. If you don't know anything about the body and physiology, you might fall for that. Just like you know, I'm not, I know how to drive, but I don't know how to fix cars. So if I go to a mechanic, they could tell me anything, and I'll believe it because I don't really know. I really don't know how cars work. So if you tell me it's this and that, I wouldn't be able to, you know, because it's not my area, and I don't really truly understand how cars work in that way. So it would be easy to trick me. The same thing is true when it comes to health and nutrition. A lot of people, see with doctors, I don't think the doctors are purposely trying to trick or mislead people. I think they're doing the best they can with the education that they have, and some of them don't realize how much they don't know, okay? But when it comes to somebody like Sebi, who I feel like was just a con artist, you know, like you go to his website, he was selling all these different herbs in pill form for like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. And it's like this one size fits all. If anybody knows anything about traditional herbalists, that's not how they deal with herbs, okay? They might tell you, depending on what you need it for, smoke the herbs, make it into oil, rub it on your skin, you know, decoct it in alcohol and do a tincture. They might tell you to steam with it in your face, steam with it in your vagina. Like, there's different things, you know, you might beat yourself, scrub yourself with herbs. There's a lot of different things and ways that you use herbs depending on why you're using it. No traditional herbalist is going to give you 20 pill bottles and say, oh, we have 2 formulas, either this or that. They don't ask you any questions, no evaluations. And any traditional herbalist, I don't care if they're Africans, Chinese, Korean, Native American, they all consume animal foods, okay? They're not vegans, they all consume animal foods. And they're strong, and they live long, okay? Sebi never, to me, you also have to observe the obvious. The man never looked healthy to me. He never radiated chi, okay? When people have strong chi, they have a glow about them. Their skin glows. It's something that bounces off that they radiate. He never had that to me. He always seemed sickly and frail and weak. And there are people in Honduras, there are people in the American South, there are people in Nigeria, there are people in Italy who live longer than 83, and they have a very physical life, and they're strong. Enough with that. I'm just going to leave that where it is because I have a whole video where I break down SEBI'S fraudulent stuff, right? Same thing with that Layla Africa dude who I found out just passed away at like 72 or 73. That's not that old. This book right here, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, shows you how old people really were, how long people lived, and how everything was intact. They didn't even live long and they were all sickly and broken down. No, people, you have records from primary, you have primary documents from colonizers who saw Native Americans in Florida or in the Caribbean and talked about their builds and how amazingly in shape and strong they were, how perfect they were, how good their eyesight was. I was 90 years old, okay? How women gave birth with ease. There are many cultures, African cultures and Native American cultures, where women gave birth unassisted. The husband would be asleep. They would go outside in the middle of the night, give birth, and in the morning, introduce the baby to the father. Now women need so much assistance, and people, half women can't give birth without a C-section. There's a lot of things that we think is normal that's not normal, and it comes from years of nutritional degeneration. But this is not what doctors study. And again, this is the reason why I don't respect the frauds who make money off of lying to people. People like Layla Africa and Sebi, I think that they did know, and they were just on some bullshit, fraudulent. And you have a lot of black people who they follow anybody who acts Afrocentric. If you throw in DISSECTING and act Afrocentric and start talking some shit, electric foods and live foods and CMOS and whatever kind of bullshit you making up, a lot of people just jump on that. But he wasn't saying anything, you know, and he wasn't very healthy, hence why he died of pneumonia. Only people with severely compromised immune systems die of pneumonia. I don't care what age you are. That's a fact. Okay? So, the thing is and if he claimed to know so much about how to be healthy and strong, that wouldn't have happened. People can miss me with, oh, he died in jail. There are people who are in their 90s who got through the earthquake in Haiti, okay? So, give me a break. They were buried underground for like a week, and they survived. So, that's the reason why I do so much to educate my clients. It's not what people pay attention to the most. Whenever I'm dancing or doing something like that, people pay attention a lot more. So all I can do is, because I care, because I don't get paid for anything that I put on YouTube. All these YouTube videos are free. But I put this information out because hopefully it will help somebody. And those of you who actually care about your health will look at the resources, because I always have resources. That's another thing about SEBI and like Africa. They just talking their ass off, never cited anything, never backed up anything, never said, oh, this culture here followed what I'm saying and they lived a long life. They can never point to that. There was no epidemiological evidence for what they were saying. Nothing. They were just talking, making up shit. Because so many people lack critical thinking skills, they're not able to see through that. Okay? But no, that's not the way to go. So yeah, check out my other videos that I'll post below. Make sure you check out my videos on the Body Scientist 81. Be careful with who you get your nutrition advice from. Definitely take a good look at these two books for sure. Deep Nutrition, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. There's also a book called Real Food by Nina Plank. She's not a doctor, she's a journalist, but she does an excellent job at showing how these the lobbyists and big industries twisted research to lie to us. Okay, so if you check out those references, then you will have a better understanding of what I'm saying. Okay, and yeah, people, just be careful with getting advice from medical doctors, because even some of them who I really respect, like Mercola, like I've seen some doctors I really respect who keep talking about how important vitamin D is. You guys have heard me talk about how critical vitamin D is for your immune system. And I've seen doctors talking about that. But then they'll say things like, oh, there's no food source of vitamin D. And they'll tell people to take a vitamin D pill. And if you watch my vitamin D video, you'll see that I do not recommend that. Taking a vitamin D pill is really toxic, okay? And there are food sources, okay? So if you want the answer to those questions, go watch my videos. All right, people. Stay healthy, stay healthy, stay healthy, okay? Because no matter what you think about this coronavirus situation, it's a lot worse than you think. It's going to get worse a lot of places, and this won't be the only time. And we can't expect the government and the doctors to save you. What happens if all the doctors and nurses quit? Half of them die and quit, and then, or you just can't get help. You don't want to get in that situation. So prioritize, take care of your health. Stop being out here in a starvation diet, because that shit builds a weak body. Okay? All right, people. Check out my videos below. If you learned something from this video, if you liked it, please like the video, and please share. Okay. Have a good day. Bye.